Thanks, Mark. It's great to be here with all of you. I'm going to start with a melody, and I just want to say before I begin that the theme of Hashkatah will be laced throughout what I bring today, kind of accidentally and intentionally. So take this in if you're aware of this melody. Rachel, if you'd do a screen share for us, this is Psalm 86, a line from the Piasetzner Rebbe's Hashkatah practice. And as far as I know, the melody actually is passed down from World War II. Horeini havaya darkecha, alech b'mitecha, yached levavi lira shemecha. Horeini havaya darkecha, alech b'mitecha, yached levavi lira shemecha. The translation for this is, show me, Havaya, show me, O Holy Infinite One, your ways, that I may walk in your truth. And then the second line is a little quizzical, unify my heart to revere your name. I'm going to ask that we nudge that just a little bit today for today's kavanah. Unify my heart to embody and to be one with your name and all of creation. So we can take the screen share away for a little while. I imagine, like so many of us, we have been super consumed with the fires, and my prayers to all of us at this time with that in mind. This idea of unifying myself with your presence, I've been thinking about the power of meditation. And I want to show quickly two books. This one here, Conscious Acts of Creation by Tiller, Dibble, and Cohen, or maybe Kahana. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. In this book, there are studies of how meditators have changed the pH of water and affected the gestation period of fruit flies. So our meditation has the capacity for radical change. And that's what I will be focusing on today. I'll add one more piece to that, which is this extraordinary book by Masaru Emoto, Hidden Messages in Water. I'll get links to both of these in the chat before we finish today. Our intention has the capacity and does change the world around us. So as we go into today's meditation practice, I also want us to include the power that we know that our prayers for healing have. There are different kinds of rain, and I'm bringing our attention to rain today as an intention for bringing healing to Los Angeles and to the fire areas. We've got blessings for rain, and we've got beautiful sweet rain, and we have dangerous rain. So it said that the angel of rain, the name of the angel of rain is Af Bri. Af meaning anger and Bri meaning creation. So we're hoping today to think about sweet, healing rain for Southern California. And I'll come back to this a little bit more. What I'd like to do, if we could, again, Rachel, is to do a screen share. Thank you. I've been thinking about the blowingness of the winds and how dangerous they've been. And looking through the Torah, I found accidentally this unexpected phrase where Rivka is pouring water that she's gathered from her pitcher into the watering trough. And the watering trough in the text is El HaShokate. It comes from a noun, shaket. And if you look at the Hebrew, shin, kuf, tav, it's very similar to shin, kuf, tet, which is quiet. The pronunciation would be almost precisely the same, but the meaning of the word is different. And what I've been thinking about is the raging of the winds, the horrible winds that are promoting the dispersion of this fire situation. And I've been thinking about the prayer that we recite in the mornings during the winter in the Amidah, where we say traditionally, Mashiv Haruach Umorid Hagashem, the Infinite One causes the wind to blow and the rain to fall. And I'm asking us to shift that today, that Mashkit Haruach Umorid Hagashem, that we're asking the wind to be quiet. We're asking the Infinite One to quiet the wind and for the sweet healing rain to fall. And another way of praying this is, please cause the wind to quiet and the rain to fall. So as we move into our prayer, into our meditation this morning, I'd like us to hold some of these qualities with us, and it will unfold as we go. And it's accidental but kind of intentional that hashkata, quieting, is what I will be leading for the next 6 weeks. And I think the quieting of ourselves can give us a lot of capacity for growth and healing. So I'd like to dedicate today's practice to the healing of this fire situation. And we can take away the screen share for now. Thanks, Rachel. So find your space. Find your seat. I invite you, if it's available to you, to feel your spine lifting away from the chair, or supported by whatever it is you're reclining on, if you're reclining. Let us feel the Mother Earth, whose desire is to heal, to generate growth, to foster life. Let us feel that earth energy moving up into our feet and legs, into our hips, whatever they're seated or reclining upon. Feel that earth energy supporting you in your well-being. Feel it gently moving up your spine, opening up your chest, your ribs, widening your shoulders, flowing down your arms and into your hands, coming up through your neck, front and back, and into your head. Soften your eyes, soften your eyebrows. Notice the air around you. What does it feel like? What is its temperature? If bringing your awareness to your breath is useful for you, notice the air moving in and out of your body. If bringing your attention to your breath is not useful for you, notice where you are in space. how the air is central to our survival. Find that gratitude. See if you can allow the air inside of you to hashkit, to become quiet, as one with the air in the space in which you are, in the city in which you are, in the country in which you are, and see a quieting of the air in Los Angeles. Recognize the quiet inside of you as the quiet around our planet. And on your own time, when you're ready, bring your attention to your internal fire, the flame of life within you. Can it bring warmth and be quiet enough to not burn? Can we feel this warmth inside of us? And can we see the flames out of control, quieting themselves, becoming smaller, smaller, smaller still? So that they too can be warming, yet not burning. And finally, we bring our attention to our internal water. 70% of our cells. Water that enables all of the fluids in our body to move. That carries all of the nutrition in our bodies. That pads all of our tissues. This is the water of goodness, the water of blessing. Can we bring this blessing to the blessing of water all over our planet and see gentle raindrops, gentle, sweet, healing raindrops falling over all of Los Angeles, all of the places that are threatened with fire, that are nearby. Can we feel the rain soften our own fear, our own uncertainty? We'll take some time with these four elements. Be with the one or the ones that speak mostly to you. We'll finish with a bell. O source of all life. We align ourselves with our prayer and our kavanah, our intention. Mashkit haruach, to quiet the winds. Umorid hagashem, and to bring down the sweet rains of healing.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Robin Damsky, a practice that we need so badly today. Thank you so much. And friends, with Seal That Practice, we invite everybody to stay present for another moment or two to provide an opportunity for those of us who are in mourning to recite the Mourner's Kaddish. So if you are in mourning or serving a yard site, or if it's your custom to join, you're welcome to do so. Thanks to Rachel Huget, who's holding our tech space today, for sharing the words of the Kaddish on the screen. Those of you who are not reciting Kaddish, thanks for supporting those who are invited to put the name or names of those you're honoring today in the chat now or later. And if you are reciting it, I invite you to join me by rising in body and spirit. You can unmute at this time. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah. Mama Dibra Hivite B'Yamrite Hayechon V'Yamechon Haye Dechal Beit Yisrael Ha'agala Bizman Kariv
Israel, the
Urim
Abba is man.
Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach B'Shem Elohe Almaya V'Yishtabach V'Yitzhar V'Yikvam V'Yinaseh V'Yadar V'Yitkaveh V'Yitalal Shmei B'Kedusha V'Yichu Ha'ela min kol birchata d'shma, v'chush b'chata v'tahana, v'amiran ba'alma b'yisru,
I am a
amen.
Leah.
Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, ayin aleinu v'yal
O
Yisrael,
Israel,
Amen.
Israel,
v'es shalom
Shalom,
v'yimama,
Bimruya,
v'yal
Shalom,
shalom, aleinu v'yal Kol Yisrael, v'yal Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Imru, amen.
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 Friends, thanks for joining us today for this beautiful practice that Robin led us in. If you're leading us now, I want to encourage you to join us any day this week. I just put our lineup of teachers for this week in the chat. And of course, anytime you're able to join us live is always better, but the recordings of all sessions are available on our YouTube channel. So please take advantage of that as well. Thanks so much to Rachel for holding our space today. Thanks to each of you for being here. And you're welcome, as always, to continue to sit with us and turn the sound off on your computer or device, or join us for a conversation or to share reflections on today's beautiful practice in the chat. And if you'd like to ask a question, you're welcome to do so. Just write question all in caps, put it in the chat, and I will try to work your question into the conversation. Robin, thanks so much. That was really just fantastic, and really just so powerful. There was. I just want to begin by appreciating and lifting up that tweak. The tweak of the liturgy. I guess it's more than a tweak. It's we, instead of praying for the winds to blow and the rains to fall, to pray for the winds to be quieted and the rains to fall, which is of course exactly what we need right now. Is a shift, and it got me thinking. Did the rabbis imagine a situation like this where you would not want the winds to blow?
Right.
but I wanted to just start with that, and first of all, lift that up and invite people for whom the traditional liturgy is significant or part of your spiritual practice, to consider substituting that language for the traditional language. It just raises that question. So I just want to invite you to think a little bit about, like, in terms of adapting liturgy for the moment in that way. What's your approach to that, would you say?
Yeah, so thanks for asking that. Before I got there, I did a lot of research on rain, and I was looking at the Honi, the circle maker stories, because there are a lot of stories about rain with Honi the circle maker.
Hmm.
And one of them that I read in the Talmud, it's in Ta'anit, talks about how he makes this prayer for rain, and then the rain is so abundant that it's destructive rain. And then he has to he has to go back and forth and adjust his prayers, and he feels kind of, embarrassed because he's already gotten the creator to create this rain. And then I did some research into the four different kinds of rain that we have mentioned in our liturgy. We have matar, which is basically the good rains. We have geshem, which can be too much rain, and then we have yoreh umalkosh, which we have in the Shema.
Hmm.
And the yoreh is the rain of this time of the year, the winter rains, and malkosh are the spring rains. But I didn't really see anything about the strength of either of those rains.
Hmm.
But we do have a tradition that, this whole idea of af bri, that af is really nostrils, but it's associated with anger because when we get angry, our nostrils flare. That the angel of rain has angry rain, which is destructive rain, and brie, like creative rain, which occurs to me that particularly right now in California, with all the fire, there's no place for the water to be held into the earth unless it's gentle.
Hmm.
So it can't be that strong rain, right? So that's this rain. And then the wind, I think, I've lived in California for a lot of years, and sometimes the wind actually churns up the clouds to make rain clouds. And I think that maybe that's where
Yeah.
that comes from.
Hmm.
But right now, it's not functional. And so that doesn't mean that in other parts of the world, this prayer, the way it's written, may be perfect. And maybe we do this prayer specifically, like
Hmm. Hmm.
we add this in specifically for Southern California right now, with the recognition that we are. It says that it was matar. It was a supernatural kind of rain. So we're asking for a supernatural shift in the wind. If we do it with the rain, why not do it with the wind? Um, so, and we adjust liturgy all the time.
Yeah.
Just looking from, for example, a conservative Siddur to a Reconstructionist Siddur to a Reform Siddur, a lot of the prayers are literally not the same.
Right.
Same essence, but not the same words.
Yeah.
So I think there is space for that, and I recognize I want to honor those for whom that shift would not be comfortable. Then maybe there's another way, maybe just through a meditation for healing rather than putting it into a liturgical shift.
I guess the other thing I'm thinking, Robin, as you're saying that, is that sometimes, and I think I may do this sometimes too, sometimes one might say the traditional words, but actually the intent, the kavanah, you could have the
Sure.
keva, the form could be the traditional words. Like you could say, Mashib haruach, makes the winds blow.
Right.
Um, but the intent there is, what is it? Mashkit. What did you
Mashkit,
say?
right.
Mashkit
Mashkit.
haruach, who quiets the winds. It just first have to do with, it's just bringing attention, first of all, to wind
Right.
and the divine role in wind, which is like all the elements, right? Both for blessing and for curse.
Right.
Um, and, may it be that, like where you started with that alignment with the divine will, we're really sort of praying or trying to align, create some alignment there, right? And regardless, I know we can talk about, the issues regarding the climate crisis,
Right.
but the question of alignment with nature, right, to promote a right relationship with nature is a big part of this. But I do want to actually pivot a little bit to the other metaphor there, or, of imagining ourselves making the connection between quiet and water
Mm.
and the water trough. Trough, is that the
Trough,
right?
trough, I think it's trough, but
Trough. I can never get it right. The
yeah,
water trough. I mean, that was a beautiful and powerful visual, I think, image to imagine ourselves as water troughs and that are quieting. Because I'm thinking about, what we're sitting here every day and, we're really called upon, I think, to think about like, why are we here? Like, actually, there's so much, the fire bells are ringing, right? The alarm is off and we're sitting.
right,
And what is the connection between our sitting and the action that needs to be taken?
right,
And this makes the sitting and the quiet into an action. Doesn't mean it should be the only action, which is
right,
why we also have, a link to donate, but and whatever other actions people can take to address the crisis. But the quiet itself also it's not a passivity, it's an action. And you help to
right.
turn into that. We become water troughs,
Yeah,
troughs,
yeah.
troughs.
And that was kind of accidental, and I'll share, I'll share my little blooper that when I was looking up the Sheket, I was looking for it in the Torah or in our Tanakh, and I was spelling it with a taf. And so I came up with that word in my BDB, in my handy dandy reference book for Hebrew words in the Tanakh. And I
Hmm.
thought, wow, I found this. It's the only place that I found it. And I put this whole sheet together. And then I was sitting and I thought, Sheket doesn't end with a taf, it ends with a tet. Oh
You're
my gosh,
allowed
I
to,
hope
rabbis are allowed to, Jews are allowed to do that. I was going to say rabbis.
right. And so
Any
I
Jew,
thought,
you can do that. If it sounds like that's good.
right. So it was still okay, but I had to change the sheet because
Oh,
I had a spelling
okay.
error on the sheet, right?
Okay. All right.
So, but I love that because who would have thought that a container that holds water
Mm,
is like this place of a wells, literally like a wellspring of silent space.
hmm
Um, and that my sister, who is the water commissioner in one of the towns in San Diego. I was talking
mm,
with her last night, and she talked to me about the fact that the infrastructure in in the entire state of California is just not designed for this kind of fire anywhere in the state. And so imagining these troughs, right? Like
mm,
the helicopters that are dropping water that were these troughs of water, um, and the rain and the sweet rain, the sweet kind rain that has a chance to be absorbed by the earth so that it
hmm
can regenerate.
Yeah. A couple of things in the chat. Well, first of all, that's a question from Natasha about so mashiv, which is the traditional word in that passage, mashiv
Yeah.
haruach, marit agashem. Mashiv means return.
Yes.
So I was saying return the rain. It's actually return the winds. So we could play with that traditional language, in a way that addresses
Beautiful.
productively, but also Nancy's comment about the water cycle is also quite beautiful. That Nancy, oops, I lost it because
Nancy
the
Snyder.
comments are rolling here
Mm,
uh, about the inspiration that we can get from the water cycle. Oh, here it is. Okay. The rain that falls has been in so many places and forms. I was aware as I sat that my breath was carrying water vapor into the world. This is really beautiful.
beautiful,
Like
beautiful.
makes that uh, froth very palpable, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
we might think, oh, the water cycle is something that's happening out there, but actually we're part of the water cycle. It's a
Right.
reminder that we're part of the water cycle.
Yes, we are. And Patricia's note about creative and destructive fire, absolutely. And that's why what I was getting at when I said fire that warms as opposed to fire that burns. And obviously, there are burns that are needed for forest regeneration, but this is out of control. So, and there's the fire, right? There's the fire of social justice, which maybe Patricia is a little bit of what you were getting at.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, and I was sitting and I had a little space where I could actually feel myself as the energy over Los Angeles. I could feel myself in the fire and in the air. And
Mm.
it just lasted for a short period of time. But I think if we can make those connections even briefly, it's that reminder that we really are, we are the weather, as Jonathan Safran Foer says, and that we do have so much capacity for our intention to make change in so many ways.
Yeah. And I guess it goes back to that question about like, what are we doing here? And a big part of it is just remembering, as you know, you reminded us many times, how inextricably connected we are, right? It's these, there are people who are in, we have folks here who are right now in the LA area,
Right.
and others who are at a distance, and others who have been involved in different, natural, climate related catastrophes, hurricanes, floods, etc., and
Absolutely.
fires and smoke, and the like. Um, and part of what we're doing here is really affirming our connection to each other so that we know we're not alone in it, and know
Absolutely.
that while we may be also part of the problem, we're also connected to the solution and
Absolutely.
addressing it. So
Absolutely.
want to thank you for that, Robin, very
Yeah, you're
much.
welcome. And you're welcome. And I think, it's so easy to feel helpless. It's so easy for me to feel helpless. Fire, particularly, is such a massive, massive energy. Um, and yet, this is something that I can do that connects me to all of the people. I think of one of the videos I saw on Instagram of firefighters taking deer and horses and
Mm,
dogs out of the fire. Just in addition to all the human loss and destruction, the sweet animals, that this is something that feels generative to me to say, I am that fire, I am that water, I am that air, I am that earth, and I can, find a way to, hold it, like a trough, right?
yeah. Well, thank you again for today, and may this
Welcome.
beautiful practice, provide some hope and support and resilience, and help us stay engaged and aligned, as you invited us, in a way that promotes that which is sacred. So thanks again to you, Robin, and to Rachel for holding our space. Thanks to everyone for being here.
Thanks, everybody, and safety and healing to all.
Amen. Amen. Okay. We hope to see you all tomorrow for practice with Rabbi Susan Leiter. Stay well and safe, everyone. Many blessings. Bye bye.